Besides, I'm just messing around anyway. I don't have the money unless I sold off, which I could sell off a bunch of stuff, to get another tractor with front loader arm. I'm just going to get some forks to lift up my pallet and put it on the truck. Yeah. Is it back? Let me see. Issue. Alright, it's back. Okay. Man, internet. You're not missing much. I'm just trying to find my way back to the store so I can put some forks on this and buy a fertilizer pallet and bring it over and see if that will work over at the thing. But I don't even know where I am. I'm not where I want to be. I think I got to be on the other side of this mountain range. You can easily get lost in this thing. Which direction am I heading? There, mini-map, please. South. I don't want to be going south. I want to be going... Yeah, I do. Southwest. This direction.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know you crashed. You're offline.
They said I was back.
I think he was talking to somebody else. The Thomas guy's back.
I'll try it again. Oh, so I'm still talking to myself, huh?
Yeah. That's why I wanted to just come down and let you know. The guys are like, how long will you do it? I'm like, I'll go down and tell him. Oh, apparently you're live. Okay. Should be good to go.
I just closed. All right. Is it live?
I'm refreshing. You were on your away screen for me.
I'm working on it. They say I didn't do anything, and they're saying I'm back. I can't pull it up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up.
The animal screen is there now, so.
Okay. I never left. It's all in their head. Thanks. Even though I don't know, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Oh, no, I knew your internet's wonky, so I wanted to at least come down and tell you.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
You guys didn't miss anything. I'm just driving this loader over to get a pallet forks on it, and I got lost on the way, so I don't know exactly where I am on my own map, but I'm going across fields, so at least I'm heading west. And once I get over there, we'll try that thing. Yeah, Big Daddy came down to tell me, and I was talking to myself, but I saw somebody type back, and I thought it meant me, but apparently it wasn't. So, confusing. But we're back now. And heading to the store across country, down the back roads, this way. I think I know where I am now. Yep, up through here. Yeah, stream does it. Yeah, my internet's been bad tonight. I apologize, but I can't do a thing about it. It's the most I can get for this area now. Living up here in the hills. This might not have been the quickest way back over here, but I'm back. We're going to buy some forks, pick up some fertilizer, and bring it over, and then we'll get out of this darn thing. I just want to see one of those things fired up. I haven't seen it yet. See what it does. Right now you will not have any problem finding grass. That is true. But do remember that as the map expands, the grass will start slowly disappearing to make room for all those other things. But it should still be pretty awesome. There is a ton of grass right now. Ton of grass, ton of trees, and if you take out the trees, you even have more grass. Whoa, store's back this way. So, definitely early on, though. Pallet fork. And some fertilizer. Where, oh, where? Oh, not in there. Is it solid fertilizer? I think. We're going to find out. And we'll load that up if I can. Let's see if we can get it over there without dropping it. It's a little bit of a haul, and you know how my driving skills are. So I wouldn't count on it, but we'll try. We'll give it a try. Make sure everything's good. I haven't even seen that display. Does that display light? The tunnel black thing. Does that display light up when it's running? You guys have probably used it already. Console players will have fun on this. Console players will not get this map, unfortunately. Console players can't have a map like this because they don't support multi-fruit maps, which means no extra fruit types. They don't support 4x maps, which means I'd only have a single size. And they don't support any scripts running in the map, so all this stuff that's on the map I wouldn't be able to have. Therefore, I don't develop for the consoles. And we're heading back to that little thing. Yeah, convert scripts to XML. Not gonna happen. To be honest with you, it's odd to me because Giants could very easily add something like the fabric script to the engine itself, so it's I mean, the engine runs on a million Lua scripts. What's the difference to add one more to give us the functionality without actually having to run a separate script? Certain scripts should just be built into the thing. The fabric script is one of them. You know, it's very flexible, it's very small, and it allows you to do so much more, even with the existing fruit types. But that's just my opinion. Alright, let's see what happens. Whoa. I don't think it's going to sell here, is it? Well, where's the trigger? Is it out front? See, we might need to have the loose fertilizer. Because it's not doing anything. Grab the tipper. Will this go in? I mean, will this load a tipper? A pallet?
You need to empty the fertilizer into a tipper and then tip it into there, and you're good to go.
Really? You can actually dump these into a tipper?
Yes, yep. Any pallets can go right into a tipper, and then you take your tipper over there, and it'll dump right in.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool, no problem.
See, I'm a total noob. I don't know how to play the game. I have not used any of this stuff. I'm coming over. See, I rely on these people to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just do it. You telling me that this will dump in here? There it goes. Look at that. Never knew it. Voila. Sweet. Tipper gore. Oh boy. Daggone. That's pretty bad. A lot of people probably here don't even know what you're referring to. Whoops, wrong button. See, I still hit the Q key to unload. That's how new I am to this. Alright, so we're not going to get a lot, but we're not going to pay a lot either. We have our stuff and some stuff, and let's get some speed on here to see. Oh, look at that. How cool is that? We need to get a better display that doesn't say Weisendunger and Satgut, but other than that, I'll have to find. Let's go when we go out, see if we can find that graphic and fix it up, because I don't read German. Do you guys read German? I think we can probably find that somewhere. If we can make it so that seed production control. Now if I fast forward, we can watch it go up probably. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, see that? Fast forwarding. That's pretty cool. Now all these types of factories will have those on them, but we need to how much? Let's see if we can make enough here. We've got a little fertilizer left. We need to get those words right. I bet you it's a graphic. I know the numbers are overlaid on something, but we'll look at the mod and see. Oh, there we go. It shuts off when it's done, or it doesn't have a product. Now where do we fill this sucker? We should be able to pull up somewhere and get some seed out of this building. Is it? Oh, right back there. Oh, do we have to scoop it out? I bet you if I parked underneath I would have got it right away. But yeah, you either have to park underneath there or you're going to need to get your shovel in there. Maybe, I don't know if you could park underneath, but definitely we'll need to shovel it out. There it is. Our treated seed with the counter. Yep, you have to scoop it out, which I'm not going to do right now. Let's get out of here and take a look around and do a couple things. I can end with, well, I'll save it just because I might want to come back in. You never know. We've got a little bit of time left, and I have a floating tree next to my bridge. Yeah, I remember that one. The UPK script isn't working with beans right now. Can I run through how to put oats and rye in? You cannot figure it out. Already did it. There's a whole video up on my YouTube channel on adding multi-fruit to map. And It's a long, long process. It took the whole 3 hours from start to finish to do just one. So we're not going to do it again, but check out my, during this making of section, we already did it from the beginning to end. Where am I? I want to get my map open up. But it's in there. It's in one of those episodes for sure. Let's open up the map. Take care of my few errors that I have in it right now. Well, not errors. What do we got? 1 floating tree, 2 floating tree. We spotted 3 floating trees that have to come out before I forget where they are. Number 1 was near my bridge. My bridge. See how if I go to the bridge that's over here, well, actually number 1 was the swamp. We know there's a floater in the swamp. Thank you so much, the PFB, for the follow. We need to get rid of this dude right here because it's just hanging out in the air. That's one of the 3. Up here, when I said my bridge, off to the left, there's the other one. Get rid of that one. And the other one was all the way across the map. And we were coming down this way past field 37, and I saw it up in the air right there. Yeah, look at that. I remembered exactly where they were. Did you guys see any other ones? I think that was it. Alright, so let me give you an idea. First of all, what I do to create a quick PDA map, because you guys are going to need to know. And this is quick. I just take my borders and I make them really, really far outside and open up as much of my screen as possible. You would create a new camera so you don't have to do them separately, but with the 4X map specifically, I already have my camera created and I named it PDA cam right here, and it is, we'll pull this out just briefly, it is, where's my attributes, should be, why is there no, do I have, what the heck is going on? It should have my XYZ. My attributes box is empty. Oh, I have to have something selected maybe. I need to select the camera. Wherever it is. Anyway, the PDA cam. You have to find it in here, that's right. It's been so long since I did this. I set up a PDA cam right when I start the map, and now it'll be lost in my thing. So basically, if I can't find it real quick, then I'll set it. Here it is, right here. If you highlight the PDA cam you created, then you'll get your attributes. Yeah, I'm a little bit slow today. I have for the 4X map the Y at 3600, the Z at 0, and the rotate X at -90, so I know I'm centered perfectly over the top of it and looking straight down. You can, at this point, if you want to get let's see, you can pull it back even further to make sure you get the edges. We'll go to 3800 so you can see all the way around my map. At that point, I don't see my, as you can see, my roads are not drawn in. If I was to, and we'll jump back to my regular camera, one of the things you can do, which is a pain in the butt, I should have done it first to start off, but let's do the main road because we'll be able to see it better. If you wanted to just do the one picture, just go and up your clip distance to like 5,000 on each of your road pieces so it can see it from the 3800 that's way up in the sky. And if you go through all these highway pieces, I can get the roads to draw in. I'm going to just do a couple of them for now. What I no, I hate when that happens. What I normally do, see the clip distance is 1200. If I was thinking when I was making this, I would have set them all to 5,000. Then later on you could just change the highway group to 1200 and it'll use the lower value. If the group is lower, it'll use the lower value. So you can get them all scaled back down. Right now it's at 100,000, the highway group. Let me give you an idea. So if I was to go through and wanted to get all the roads in right now in one picture, if I go back to my my PDA cam, and we should have had, what are we at? I should be able to see my road, but I can't. Let's zoom in. It's because it's right up against that. Yeah, that's a problem too. You see how it's flashing in there. You can't really see it because it's up against the ground. So we're going to have to do something different. When you do the final map, you basically zoom in to a much closer picture. You can also draw the roads in, but you would basically take segment screenshots at much closer where you can see the roads and do like 4 quarter. Actually, I'm probably going to do 4, 8, about 16 pictures to get my final one, or get that other guy to do it for me that did it last time, because that's not going to work. I can see the road, but it gets covered up a little bit. If I was to go down to, say, 1600, where you can see a little bit more, let's try 800. We're starting to see some of the railroad, but it's still kind of blocky. So yeah, looks like we're going to be drawing a lot of this map in, because you'd have to get real close to get the roads to look right when they're up against the ground. There's a 300. We could take nice pieces and stitch them at this size, but that's way too many pieces for me. So I'm going to go back up to 3700. But what I did was just take a screenshot. I do a shift print screen when you have your whole map up there, and then I jump into my paint.net and I will paste my into new image, and I've got all 3 screens again. Somebody told me how to do that, but I didn't follow their directions. Whoops, wrong tool. I didn't follow their directions on how to do just one screen, but look, I got a lot of stuff going on there, you know? I'm going to just crop this one out for now so you can see my image and just kind of get the corner from green to so far right about there. It's almost square. You can see 954 by 953, close enough. I'm going to crop it to that selection, then image resize it to 2048 by 2048. Make sure it's completely square. Now, if I didn't copy those other screens, I'd have a little bit better resolution image. But there, it's 2048 by 2048 cutout. And then what I do is I go into my map, and in my maps map 01 folder, there's a PDA map H picture. I just take this one, actually, which is a little bit different than the other one because of the way the textures show up and everything. But I take this one, select all, edit, copy it, drop it right on top of my other one. And the other one was a little bit out of square. That's why I wanted to do it over anyway. And then I can go to save it as my PDA map H and my DXT1, and you don't need to have your MIP maps on because you don't. You just don't need it for a static image like this. You don't. So the file size will be a little bit smaller. And there you go. Your PDA map is created. So when we go back in the game, we'll have a little bit different. So I wanted to cover that for you guys. Secondly, what I did, and you can do this, I'll do a quick demonstration because it's pretty straightforward, but I have on here, and you guys don't have this, but you might find a map with objects that you want to use. So I'm going to jump into Andre's map, for instance, that I have been using to steal stuff from. And we'll take a look. You guys can see what he's done. And I think he's going to release this for you guys as well, which will be really cool. You look for the PV17 folder that I have, the mod folder switcher that I have and could not find it. Exclamation point. Oh my gosh. I can get you the command if that's what you're talking about. MFS. What is it again? Let's see. MFS17. MFS17, if you want to use that mod folder switcher program I'm using. That's all you can do. Now, I've learned something, and this is really fun because you guys, this is going to come in super handy for you, and I never, read the shortcuts. They come in super handy. Let's see if I can find, let's go up to his, did I save this? I want to check. Well, we'll find out. We're going to give you a demo. You can see how much his farm in the editor looks pretty close to mine. You've got the whole pig feeding station there, and the silo. He has it a little bit different around the outside, but hey, I stole it from him. So let's click on this building. You notice we have hall. All right. Now, if you were to pull up a map and we know we want the hall, but we also know that we want the stuff in the hall. So what I do is I start up with, let's see, we've got everything that's near it. Usually people build things. You can go and click on things individually, but this is the pig mixer, the hall. Let's see if this one is in the same building. And we're going to try to find all the pieces. I am pretty sure that this is not in here. It's way over there. So I'm going to grab from the pig mixer. Then I've got, I know is the pallet collector, and I've got two LS15 Regal 14 millimeter shelving units that are right back there. That's everything that's in that hall. We'll highlight them all. and voila. So that's what we want to take with us into our other map. All right, we've got every piece right there, but it's several pieces. And this is what I learned. If you just hit left control and G key while you have all those highlighted, it puts them in its own little group right here at the bottom, which makes it really handy for moving around as one piece later on. So you can now name it whatever you want, that group name to Pig Hall, I guess we can name it, so we know, and it's all grouped together in its little thing. So right control G for group, or left control G for group, and once you have it all grouped, what you do is file, make sure it's highlighted, export selection with files, browse to your map. I'm in right here in my PV17, and I would go to my models folder, and I would make a new folder. As you can see, I already have this, but I'm just doing it for you guys. We can I'll delete it afterwards. I'm gonna make a folder called Pig Hall. Open that folder and then just do a Pig Hall, and it's set to i3D file already. Click Save, and it will ask if you want to get the parent directory structure. I find that everything works better when you do. So we're going to grab the parent directory structure. Simple as that. When it's ready, you can close out his map, and if you I have my other one still open right here. So we will go and back to my other camera, and I know where his is going to appear in, because it's going to be right over the top of mine because it's centered. It is a Goldcrest Valley in the middle here, but because I'm using both editors, both maps open at the same time, when I save something out of there, this makes it real easy, one thing at a time, because look, it brings you right to where the Pig Hall is that you last saved, as long as you, and it's saved in my map in the proper folder, so it makes it super easy to pull right back up without having to search for where did I save this all the time. I keep 2 copies of the map editor. You do need a little bit of extra space on your computer. You know, I have lots of RAM to make it work smoothly, but you'll see this new Pig Hall appeared right over the top of the other one. Now, when you group things the way I did, it often puts the axis way over somewhere else, so in the corner. So you just kind of get the 2 of them in the picture at the same time, and you can slide your hall wherever you wanted to put it and make a spot for it, raise it up. And if you really need to adjust it, you can use the Y translation in much smaller increments to go up and down. 0.6, you could go to 6.9 or 0.69 there, you know, for the smaller, till you get it where you want it. Spinning it around when the axis points off the center of the map takes a little bit of work, but hey, it still keeps everything in there all in one spot. I'm not going to keep that one here because you guys don't need to see that one, but once you have it in the map, we have to do a couple other things. We know that the pig mixer is, first off, we'll start this for people that have never been in a map here before. Highlight this is our pig mixer machine, okay? It's going to highlight something. Find the root folder for it, and this is the Pig Mix 2000. So start right at the top if you've got something new, and look at, keep your user attributes panel open, because it will tell you everything you need to know. And I just jumped. When you have two maps open, sometimes it does that. Let's see, where are we? Am I in mine? No. Let's get back to my map. Okay. Pigmix 2000. There's an area, the player index, the work anim index, input index, and what you want to look for is mod on create fabric script. Okay, so we definitely have the fabric script running on this. Anything that's on create that runs a script. Some of them are built into the Giants engine, but the fabric script runs this building. I go over to Andre's map folder, or whatever map you have. This is, if the person did it well, then it'll make it real easy for you. But let's open up the Goldcrest AL. There's one file here you want to look in their mod description folder and edit with Notepad his mod description. Now, somewhere in here is the settings for, well, here's a Sagework is sawmill. So those are the sawmill settings. And they go in between the L10N tags. If I wanted to take a sawmill, this is another sawmill. This is a fodder mixer, which takes grass, silage, straw. I don't think we need any of the... the pig mix foods are already in there, so we don't need... But if you have a special group of texts that are needed, look up here and translate it if you have to. Get the right section and copy this into your mod description. But right here you have his scripts fabric script. In the extra source file are the extra scripts that are running in that map under the source files. So I know from this one here, because I've been doing this forever, but if we go back to the map that we have, not only do we have the Pigmix 2000 running the fabric script, but this piece right here is actually your pallet collector. And actually highlight the collector anywhere. And if we go to the top of that group, it says it's pallet and sampler right there. If we highlight that, you will see that, come on computer, that also has a mod on create pallet and sampler. So that's the other script that's in that mod description file. You're just going to need to copy the source files out of the mod description of that map, and you will see that I have them right here. The fabric script is in my scripts folder under fabric script Lua, and the source file palette sampler Lua is in my scripts folder as well. So I would go to his folder, this is Goldcrest AL, Andre's map, and go to his scripts folder and grab the fabric script and the palette tin sampler Lua files and just copy those into, actually I got his open twice, into my map, which is in a scripts folder right here, and you can see I got them there. So once the two scripts are installed, those will work very well. They're installed in here, the extra source files in the mod description. At that point, you can run the map, look at your error log. If you missed any files that did not copy over, it will tell you exactly in your error log, and I do it with everything. I'm not going to get it right now because I already took care of the errors, but every time I bring a mod in, if there's particle systems, for instance, it will tell you exactly where they have to be in your error log to put those particle systems in and you might have to copy them out because particle systems are not actually part of the mod that are saved when you output it. One of the things you can look at is we outputted it into my models and we have a pig hall, okay? If we go back to the pig hall, if we could really look around through his map and find out where he installed it, but it's sometimes a little bit different. Models, buildings, that's where he has his sage work. You could do a search for pig hall, or what did he call it? I don't even know what it was called. But somewhere in his map he has that building, unless it's been merged in already. But right off this pig hall, you will need to, when you run it, you'll find out if it's missing. I know it uses some of the particle systems have to be copied over. Just look at the error log and get all the files that it's missing over into your map in the exact same folder path that it's looking for. It's that simple. The render error might have to do with the palette spawner. It could be. It wasn't happening. I think it actually might have just been some server thing because I've been working all day and checking and I didn't have any rendering issues until I went on the darn server. So I might have to just clear the cache out. Anyhow, once you have all those files over, we can take a look at the hall itself. And I'm going to take a little bit further look at this as well down the road. But here we have the mix feeder. He's got little signs on here tell you what goes in and everything. You have the pig mix 2000, and this is going to help you guys to help you customize it up a little bit. If you want to do some different things for your mix feeder, basically. We'll go through each of the parts of it. So with all these, the player index, we don't want to mess with these. We just don't want to move any of these folders because they each point to one of these indexes. And if you remember, like the area is index 5. So underneath pigmix 0, if we collapse these, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and player index is 2. Where is it? It's off of here. That's 0, 1, 2. Okay, so just make them all collapse. The first one would be 0, second one would be 1, third one is 2. So that's why the player index has to stay where it is. Area is 5. If you count it down 3, 4, 5, you'll see that there's a clear area section. So if it was a placeable still, it would clear the area that it's placed in. But all those indexes point to the hierarchy of that it's underneath. And as long as you know that, and you keep those numbers the same where they are, you can kind of mess around with some of the other stuff. You have an input index, which is 0, and an output index, which is 1. So at 0 is our input triggers, 0 being the first one underneath. And when we have it highlighted, we will check. Notice there are no user attributes. We'll open it up. You'll see there's 4 of these Rostov things. And Rostov 1, it's German for something. Does anybody know what it's German? But each one of them has a set of user attributes. And these are your inputs because we're in the input trigger. So this trigger that's highlighted here, those triggers, there's a couple of them. You can see the dumping trigger, and there they are. They're already lit up, but we just know that it's Rostov 1 has a capacity, so I can change the capacity. It has a factor of how much it uses, so it's going to use 0.5, half of this compared to a full whatever the other one is. And fill type is maize, which is your corn, and it's named base food. That's the name that's going to actually appear right here. You can actually see it's even lit up the number system because it's in there. You can see where it's going to appear. We're not going to mess with that, but we can easily change the capacity or how much it uses, or even add a second fill type, because this is a fill types. If we wanted to at this point add sorghum, for instance, whoops, not dorgum, but sorghum, you just put a space and now you could use maize and sorghum, but I'm not going to do that. I'd want to change the sign as well. I may add them later to that, but that's fill type number 1. Just go down your list. It'll tell you each one of them and what they do. And it will be named base food up on your list. So the second trigger here, is a factor of 0.05 potatoes and sugar beets. And its name is earth fruit, and that's a really small amount of potatoes and sugar beets. But those are your 4 input triggers. You can alter the capacities 25,000. Oh no, snow! Rostov is raw materials. There you go. Thank you for the translation. So then there's the protein food, and you can see right here, it's 25,000 Rostov 3 raw materials. Rape, soybean, sunflower. We could easily add in millet to that if we want. You won't have. Make sure you don't spell anything wrong like I do all the time. But now mine will take millet as well. I don't have the sign for millet in there, but I gotta edit those signs too, the names. I know where they are. So you can mess around with these and the capacities, and it takes 0.20 is the factor. So it's 0.20 of that product to make 1 unit of any of those products. And then your grain, we would add in, like I said I wanted to, wheat, barley, oat, and rye are now added in at a factor of 0.25, and it will come up as the name grain. And even though we have Gerst and Weizen, we might be able to squeeze the other signs in later on for oat and rye, and when I get all the proper ones made. But that's your inputs. Then you basically can close that up, and you have the same thing with an output trigger, but it has product 1. Now, product 1 is pig food right there. Pig food, capacity 4,000, and I believe that's how much it goes into a pallet. He has it. Name Schweinfutter. We might change that to pig. Well, we could change it to pig food, but I'm not going to mess with it yet. Unless that's what I got to do to change my digital display when I get there. And then the palette spawner, and let's see about this displays. Let's see what we have under this. I have not experienced beyond. Alright, that's just the numbers. For that one. There's a player trigger that triggers. That's the trigger box for when you trigger this to turn on by walking up to it. We don't have to mess with that either. But we'll highlight it so we can see where it is. You can see it's connected to that television screen. So once you have all those in there, you can make some of your own modifications to those things, and you'll be good to go. And here's the thing with the fabric script as well that you will need to know. If you take this Pig Mix 2000, the whole Pig Mix thing, and you want to make a duplicate of it, you need to give it a different name. And that's all the fabric script assigns its save ID in the file by the name of the item. So when I did this fertilizer machine, and I copied two of them, one on each side of the map. They had the same save ID because it basically names it fertilizer save ID. So just adding a 2 to the name of the fertilizer means the fabric script, the very first transform group, the top one, that's what it's going to grab its save ID from in the fabric script. So if you're going to make duplicates, just change that first. You can see I have a seeds and a seeds 2. If I wanted to put another one in, it'd have to be a seeds 3. But that's the way the fabric script grabs things, and you can put 20 of them in your map if you want. You might have some lag, but if I want to put another fertilizer thing, I would just go over there, highlight it, and change it to a different name so it gives it a different save ID. Hope that covers that pretty well with those. And you can do a lot with the fabric script. As I will be doing in the near future, it's triggers. Just look at the triggers. I'll give you an example. I'll copy the fertilizer 2 here, just so I don't mess up the other one. I'm going to delete it when I'm done. But let's say I have my copy of my building here. It would need to have a different name for it to not register over the top of the other fertilizer. So we're going to call this Fuel 1. And basically, I'm going to do something like this, but not with this model. I'm going to create something to create fuel, and it's as simple as adjusting your inputs and outputs. Input for our fuel, we're only going to need one, so I'm going to delete the second one and give you an idea of what we're going to do. Actually, I might be able to do it right here. I'm going to delete that one because I don't need two triggers, input triggers. Let's see if it works. I'm going to keep the first input trigger, but we're going to create our fuel with our extra silage. So let me see what happens here. I'm going to change the fill type to silage and name silage as well. And we have a fill trigger. It's attached to a plane and everything. We can actually move that, create a box for it, whatever we have to do. I don't know if that box is separate. We can use that box if it is separate. But what I will end up more than likely be doing, let's see if that box is separate. Yeah, it is. So you could actually bring that piece with you to make your own little thing. You got your digital display. You just got to rearrange the pieces. You can get rid of this whole building if that's the only piece you want for that. But use the visible objects. And we have a trigger now that we can dump silage in. I'm going to actually take this whole tip trigger section. I'll redo the plane graphic at some point. I'm not going to do it now, but I am going to make it so we can take this whole trigger and put it in to one of the is this the farm that has it? The extra? No, it's over on this one, I think. Once I make one of them, I'm going to make it outside of the map, or maybe I'll get a... But you see, I have an extra dumping spot. That one's the normal one. I'm going to make one of these into a silage maker. So I will reposition the plane and the trigger over the top of this thing for our... I'll end up replacing this plane here with the one that's in there just by, well, like this. You go like this. Highlight this one. Might as well do it just for giggles. Let's see. Let's see if this works. We already have a plane. We'll highlight it, edit, replace, and it pops up the replace menu. We'll get in here and make sure we get this one. We have that plane selected. We replace it. Click on the load button and click replace. So we now have somewhere, we have to find it again on our fill plane. Where is it? It will have to be, well, it gets off center because of the location. We have to bring it in here, but let's grab the tip trigger so we can make sure that that's still there. Come on, you can do it. Where'd you go? Waiting. When you move things around, it goes a little crazy. There it is. Okay. If we take the fill plane and return it to 0, it will go to the exact spot of this trigger. So I'm going to do that by changing my translations. 0, 0, 0. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. We have our plane here. We will be getting rid of this one here because it's not going to do anything. And now we have one that actually has a fill plane that will be able to move up and down eventually. I'm not going to have time to get through this whole thing, but giving you guys an idea of how to create something with the fabric script from something that's already existing. I'm going to grab the box, the trigger, the dump trigger. We'll bring that right in. We might have to keep the plane stationary because of the way it looks. This plane's probably going to have to stay stationary. But at least we have a plane in there. We'll see how it works. It's the way this thing is shaped. That's why they don't move them up and down when you dump in there. We have the dump trigger for the product, and then we just need to have an output trigger. The displays, actually, we're going to need to check out the displays. There's a shovel target. If you want to be able to use the shovel, we got to make sure that's over here as well. Let's see where that is. Everything that's underneath this one, you want to make sure is here. Bringing over that shovel target so I can see it, and we'll just put that inside as well so you can dump with a shovel. The other one actually probably should be out in front if you want to be able to use a tipper, but I'm going to just put that over the top for now. Let's see what our displays have. This is probably to do with the whole digital display thingy. Let's see what we get highlighted. And where was it? What one were we? Oh, it's right over there. Right. So that's we have two digital displays. One right here and one right there. This one is the one that's supposed to be on the monitor because I slid it out. So we'll have to work that out. Positioning wise won't be fun, but that's how the numbers appear on the monitor. So we're going to have to move that monitor into place, move the digital display, but you just kind of piece it all together. Back to where I was on that farm over here. I'll bring them over for now. Alright, so they're a lot closer anyway. I'm going to take and see if I can grab them separately. Display 1 is the other one. Alright, display this display is that one. I'm going to bring it onto the surface of my Silo King. And I'm going to have to rotate it around so it's facing the right direction. So you can mess around with it a little bit. It's pretty easy to do. And you'll be tweaking. But we have the whole display. We've got it right there. So we can get a little bit of a digital readout on this. Now, the other display, if we bring over the television monitor and put it somewhere on the farm, maybe we could actually, you know what I think we can do? Let's go to our little sub one over here and grab this piece just because. If you're going to have the digital display on it, might as well grab the monitor. Let's see what it does, if I can. Alright, we have display on. This is exactly what I wanted to check. There's our graphic for the display that we're going to have to edit, which is in maps model seed fertilizer placeable 1 control display.dds. If I copy that and go, that's through the material editing panel. Later on, I can just go into my map and search for that control display, and then I can open up my graphic, and now I'll be able to edit this out with English. You guys that know how to do graphic setting, that's what we're going to do. Mist, Gil, I'll do all the translation so it actually reads correctly, and I will keep the background as good as possible by just using my magic copy paste like so, and just rewrite the stuff in. We'll make up some nice new displays. Find a font that looks decent, as long as it's black on the blue. I'm not going to do that yet, but we're going to do all that. And then we'll just export it back out to right over where it is. So that's how you can edit your displays really quickly. We're going to want to grab everything that has to do with that display, which would be this group right here. Under this shader group. I don't know if the work animations, is there anything else on there? I'm going to go up. Oh, there's a sign up there. I don't know if that turns on. But just find the pieces you want to get. I'm trying to get the frame of this thing. That is the player trigger. So is that all in? Yeah, there's a couple pieces. You're just going to have to move these pieces over. It's going to be fun. And reposition them. There's the player trigger. Let's see, I'll slide them out for now just so I can see what kind of... That's the whole thing. Just highlight, yeah, alright, we're good. We've got all of it. We'll bring that over to our... Let's see if I can put it on here. Now, we're going to have to do a little bit of positioning. We will find a place for it if this doesn't look good, but I think we might be able to get it right in over here, like so. And this is how I center things. You see how it's partial? Just kind of work it. This will make it so it's really flat. There you go. We'll move it back out now so we don't have the handle sticking through the door. But we have a display, we have a trigger, all from that building. And the other display has to go on top of this somewhere. The numbers. And I'll have to go in there and position it absolutely correctly when I redo this display. But we'll bring the numbers over for now anyway. And just set them there. It's very hard to see when it's not lit up exactly where things are going to appear. Same thing with this. I'm going to just spin it. And I send it to the back. And I could tell by what's showing if it's crooked or not by moving it in and out. If it's all appearing roughly at the same time, we know it's pretty straight with the display. There you go. You can offset it a little bit. So we will have the numbers for that whole mess there. That is our input. And then you've got to do, I'm not going to do this tonight, but we got to do the same thing with our output trigger. We have a product, we're going to output fuel. Let's see. So we'll change our fill type to fuel because it's going to output fuel. And let's grab the whole output trigger group and bring that over here as well because we're going to need it. Let's see where it is. What do we have in that group? Alright, so I am going to be replacing the... getting rid of the plane completely. We don't need all that crazy stuff. We don't need the heap, which has its own settings. But it's going to go in a fuel tank, so we'll get rid of the heap. And our display we can put wherever we're going to get a fuel tank over here. I'm going to grab, I got to get one, but we'll have a fuel tank on the farm and we will put, same thing, we should have two displays. One for, this one here should be for what I'll put on the fuel tank to show how much it is. And the other one is got to go, alright, that's the fuel tank one, which I don't have yet. And the other one is going to be the digital board, which I can at least move closer. I'll have to edit it later. we'll put it right on the surface and adjust it so I know where it is. But that's the digital display for our fuel output, which will probably be toward the bottom more. And they weren't exactly completely straight with their numbers there either, were they? We'll see how it looks later. So all I need to do is get a fuel tank and I'll get this other display on it. And everything else that's in there, we're not going to have work animations or anything. So I will keep the uh, title of each of these because if they're referenced in the initial one, we don't want them to be missing. So the viz objects, the whole group, I can empty it because I'm not going to use it. I could copy my visible object in there, but keep the viz objects group though because it's probably referenced up above in the trigger up here under fuel 1. It probably has a reference to where, and if you move those initial ones, they can really get all out of whack. So same way with work animation. I don't have any work animations, but there's particle systems. Actually, we might keep some particle systems. I'll have to look at them and see what they are. Sounds we can keep. Shaders for display on, we're going to need that. So what else is down below? Let's see if there's whatever else is left. We're pretty close to getting this to be able to take fuel. I got the fuel trigger that's going to have to be moved into place when I get a fuel tank. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it tonight. Maybe we can finish this up on Friday. I'll get the rest of the pieces we're going to need. I got rid of the rest of the building, the duplicate. And there's actually some pieces underground it looked like too. Maybe. No, I guess we're good. So we're well on our way to creating our own little fabric script silo. I just need to get a fuel tank, move the fuel pickup trigger, and put the rest of our digital displays together and test that thing, and we'll be ready to go. You can literally, though, I'm just showing you this because once I have fuel 1 done, I can duplicate it to fuel 2 and put them on other farms. But you can literally take this fabric script and other visual objects and work it into whatever you want it, make it into, and that's what's really cool about it. We can do whole factories out of this. We'll work on seeing more of what the saw. I'll have to look more into the sawmill or the pig feeder that has the pallets that outputs pig feed. Maybe we can get the fabric script to output pallets for our new factories if we can't get the UPK working. So it's all there. It's just a lot of time consuming. You can see just to get where I am now, it takes about an hour. So creating massive factories and different things is a whole nother story. I hope you guys learned a little bit and I didn't bore you to death. But and Belgium Gamer, thanks again for I didn't catch it. I get going on this for the host if I missed you before. But we're going to call it a night for tonight, and we'll get back here Friday night. We'll pick up where we left off. I'll get the rest of the pieces to finish up this thing and see what else we got in store. Thanks everyone, and we'll catch you later. Have a great evening. And don't forget to save before you mess everything up.